Well, I'm trying to remember who it was that said a while back that the extremes, left and right, were going to rise to prominence in Europe. I think it was Bill Kristol. I can't remember. But I looked at the news this morning and I thought, man, that Bill Kristol guy, boy, he is so right. More people should listen to him. Did I throw my box of Bill Kristols out, Tiffany?
You did.
I did?
You did. Look, it's behind you now. They're going to show it last time you threw them all out.
Oh. Yeah. I thought I trashed them. Did we recycle them?
We don't believe in recycling here.
Good. We're in Texas. Thank you. I just wanted to check. So what has happened? France elected a socialist president for the first time in almost 30 years. But let's not kid ourselves. That story is so misleading. It's France. They're all socialist presidents. It's not on our scale. It's on the European scale. Then you also had a story this weekend. The Muslims are rising up in Syria. I'd like to add that Jordan is close behind. Military in Egypt is considering postponing the vote again. Radical Salafists are now fighting with the Radical Muslim Brotherhood, and they're fighting in the streets. But I want to start here tonight. I want to start with the neo-Nazis, because believe it or not, the Nazis are back in vogue in Europe. They were the big winners in Greece. It's a party called the Golden Dawn Party. In case you don't think that they may be Nazis, here's their logo. And I don't think it's too difficult to figure out who they were aiming for here. But if that wasn't enough of a giveaway, try their first press conference where last night the guy who's the head of the party walks in and demands the press stand up to greet him. And most of them do.
Για μια Ελλάδα χωρίς την δουλεία του μνημονίου και την εκχώρηση της εθνικής μας κυριαρχίας. Για μια Ελλάδα που δεν θα έχει καταντήσει κοινωνική ζούγκλα από τα εκατομμύρια τους λαθρομετανάστες που μας έφεραν στην πατρίδα μας χωρίς να μας ρωτήσουν. Ένα σχεδόν χρόνο κράτησε αυτή η προεκλογική εκστρατεία. Η νέα Χρυσή Αυγή του ελληνισμού ξημερώνεται. Όσοι προδίδουν αυτή την πατρίδα, ήλθε η ώρα να φοβηθούν. Ερχόμαστε. Αυτά είχα να σας πω και τίποτε άλλο.
Okay. Sounds typically Nazi. And that's probably why they should fear. He's telling people it's time to fear. And he's not telling the average person, he's telling the people that have done all of the bailouts, all of the politicians that have betrayed the country. He's telling the people who have allowed illegal immigration to happen and have all these illegal immigrants live off the system. Is any of this sounding familiar? He's telling them to fear, and it's resonating with the Greeks. Why? Because no one else is giving them an answer. They're all playing the same game. If you want to see our future, if Mitt Romney doesn't win, or if he wins and he doesn't do exactly, he plays the GOP game. If he plays the GOP game and it's business as usual and they just do all kinds of, if he doesn't do low taxes to encourage growth and chop our budget, I mean, really, not take it back to 2008 levels. I mean, chop it. This is what's coming in our future. And if it's not him, it'll be the communists, who, by the way, that's who took over France. It's where the world is heading. Now, what you're kind of seeing in Greece is the Bubba effect. It's people just having enough, and they don't trust the establishment. They don't trust any politician to actually do anything. So they're going to listen to somebody who says, yeah, they should be scared. Could I point out they're Nazis? If you didn't know they were a Nazi, there'd be a lot of people in this country that would say, yeah, I agree with that guy, right? How far into desperation do you have to go before you start listening to a Nazi? Greece is there. This kind of message and the communist message, which will be on the other side, the European left and right, will resonate with Americans in about 4 years, railing about the banks and how they're stealing from the people, being tired of immigrants coming in and living off and sapping the resources that they didn't pay into. But these guys are threatening physical violence. This is where we're heading if we're not careful. The time to hold things together in our country is now. In 4 years from now, maybe even in 2 years, heck, maybe by the fall, it won't be. We have to take the steps now, and that's what the episodes are about, June 4th, to get you ready in June for July and the election. We have to pray to God that Romney wins, that America can still see the difference between good and evil, right and wrong, capitalism and Marxism. But then we ought to be praying at the same time that he is who he says he is, that he is a much smaller government guy than we think he is, and that he's not in bed with the banks and the Wall Streeters. Or we'll be repeating what soon will be Greece's history. Greece is seeing a surge of the fringe parties. We already know about the Nazi Golden Dawn Party, which picked up about 21 seats. We heard, one of the newest elected officials ranting about being anti-bank, anti-immigration. But then there's the KKE Party, who's communist. They won about 26 seats. They're the Marxist-Leninist mindset. When it was founded, the KKE pushed for the formation of trade unions, shorter work days, and higher wages. It's the equivalent of the SEIU if it had a party. But that's not all that's happening in Greece. You have the New Democracy Party, which picked up most seats with 108. It was against the first EU-IMF bailout. It was against the austerity cuts. This party's members believe that a good work ethic leads to success in business, and not everyone should automatically have the same success opportunities. It sounds more like a free market capitalist party to me. Syriza AK, the radical left coalition, won 52 seats. The party formally launched in 2004 when a bunch of the leftist parties and groups joined together. That sounds like what Barack Obama is doing. The issues they have in common are that they're anti-Social Security. They oppose new anti-terror laws. Thanks to this weekend's election, they quadrupled the number of seats they hold in Parliament. PASOK got 41 seats. That's a member of the Socialist International Movement. I mean, all of these really, except for the one, all of these could be one party. This is a party that was founded on high wages, high capital gains taxes, criticism of NATO, and the need for bigger government. 26 years ago, when the party held a majority, it amended the Constitution to expand the Prime Minister's powers. That's, I guess, the party of President Barack Obama. Is it a coincidence that the economic conditions today in Greece surrounding the election of the new Nazi party are almost the same as when Hitler gained office in Germany? When Hitler was elected, unemployment was at 30%. Look at this graph. Today, in Greece, it's 22%. It is the oldest story in Europe, and it's happening almost exactly the same way. Look at the Nazi votes. Remember, it only took 30% to elect Hitler to lead Germany in 1932. History repeats itself, especially and positively if we don't know history. Oh, everybody knows who Hitler is. No, they don't. Believe it or not, my wife and I watched a documentary this weekend called 180. It starts with, do you know who Adolf Hitler is? Watch this.
Adolf Hitler, what do you know about him?
He was what's it called? But he was kind of a president.
What do you know about Adolf Hitler?
I really don't know anything about it.
Have you heard of Adolf Hitler?
No.
Never heard of him?
No.
I vaguely remember him.
Who was Adolf Hitler?
He was the guy that's in, was he German?
It only gets worse from there.